Welcome to our continuing series on questions and answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today's subject is Divine Will, Part 7. From Sri Aurobindo. But to remain in works without desire is to act for the good of the world in general, or for the kind or the race, or for some new creation to be evolved on the earth, or some work imposed by the divine will within him. And this must be done either in the framework provided by the environment, or the grouping in which he is born, or placed, or else in one which is chosen or created for him by a divine direction. Therefore, in our perfection, there must be nothing left in the mental being which conflicts with or prevents our sympathy and free self-identification with the kind, the group, or whatever collective expression of the divine he is meant to lead, help, or serve. But in the end, it must become a free self-identification through identity with the divine, and not a mental bond or moral tie of union or a vital association dominated by any kind of personal, social, national, communal, or creedal egoism. If any social law is obeyed, it will not be from physical necessity or from the sense of personal or general interest, or for expediency, or because of the pressure of the environment, or from any sense of duty, but solely for the sake of the Lord of works, and because it is felt or known to be the divine will that the social law or rule or relation as it stands can still be kept as a figure of the inner life, and the minds of men must not be disturbed by its infringement. But the divine will may descend too as a luminous single command, or a total perception, or a continuous current of perception of what is to be done into the will or into the thought, or as a direction from above spontaneously fulfilled by the lower members. O knower of the births, bear us over every difficult crossing, yea, over all stumblings into evil as in a ship that travels over the waters. O will, expressed by us with our obeisance of submission as the eater of things, awake in us, be the fosterer of our embodyings. The divine powers in us are carried to their goal in the truth and bliss by the force of the divine will working in man. Mental, vital, physical, the lower births, all the knowledge of which the divine will, knower of our births, possesses, and through which it has to lead the ascending sacrifice to the supramental. The supramental world has to be formed or created in us by the divine will as the result of a constant expansion and self-perfecting. It is a question between the divine and myself, whether it is the divine will or not, whether I am sent to bring that down or open the way for its descent, or at least make it more possible or not. Let all men jeer at me if they will, or all hell fall upon me if it will for my presumption. I go on till I conquer or perish. This is the spirit in which I seek the supermind. No hunting for greatness for myself or others. 10/2/1935. It is true that I want the supramental not for myself, but for the earth and souls born on the earth, and certainly, therefore, I cannot object if anybody wants the supramental. But there are the conditions. He must want the divine will first, and the soul's surrender, and the spiritual realization through works, bhakti, knowledge, self-perfection on the way. 15/4/1935. You have expressed in one of your letters your sense of the present darkness in the world round us, and this must have been one of the things that contributed to your being so badly upset and unable immediately to repel the attack. For myself, the dark conditions do not discourage me or convince me of the vanity of my will to help the world. For I knew they had to come. They were there in the world nature and had to rise up so that they might be exhausted or expelled, and a better world, freed from them, might be there. After all, something has been done in the outer field, and that may help or prepare for getting something done in the inner field also. For instance, India is free, and her freedom was necessary if the divine work was to be done. The difficulties that surround her now and may increase for a time, especially with regard to the Pakistan imbroglio, were also things that had to come and to be cleared out. Here too there is sure to be a full clearance, though, unfortunately, a considerable amount of human suffering in the process is inevitable. Afterwards, the work for the divine will become more possible, and it may well be that the dream, if it is a dream, of leading the world towards the spiritual light may even become a reality. So I am not disposed even now, in these dark conditions, to consider my will to help the world as condemned to failure. 4/4/1950.